Hello there, everybody. This is John Barton from JB Cases. So here's what we're going to do. Along the lines of experimenting with aiming, Don and I have talked about a little experiment that we want to do. So everybody, this is Don Vager. He works with me.
Hello.
Don is currently a Fargo 350-ish, right around there?
367.
367. So not established yet, so he might be a little higher, probably is, but he's got 170 games in. Anyway, so Don's been around. He's he's always listening to me going off about CTE, and obviously he sees me be a cheerleader for it, but not exactly
Watching me miss shots
watching me miss shots, so
after a 3-hour video.
after a 3-hour video. So anyway, we're gonna do an experiment here where Don is going to take a pocketing test by Colin Colenso. You can see it back here. This is the Colin Colenso's potting test. So it goes from difficult to moderately difficult for this test. The first shot, you'll see in a moment, is kind of hard. If I'm looking up here, it's because I'm looking up at the screen to see myself, so not very professional here, but I just like to be able to do that. So anyway, this is the test. I know it looks confusing on here, but these are all the ball positions. These are basically identical positions for left and right cuts. And then there's a way to score on here. So he's got a score sheet. You take 5 shots. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same test on this table on the 9-footer. Right here, 9-foot gold crown with 4 1/4 inch pockets. And then we're going to do the same test over here on the diamond bar table. So that way we're going to get an accurate representation of where Don is right now. So we're just going to see it, score it. Then I'm going to take a week. We're going to teach him center to edge aiming. So at the moment right now, Don, you don't really, how do you aim?
Oh gosh, oh my God.
So he doesn't really, he just kind of sees it and hits it. Okay, right?
Pretty much. Pray and spray.
So there's no aiming method. There's nothing in particular that he does. But he's going to learn center to edge aiming as best I can teach him. So, and we're gonna do that until he feels comfortable and ready to take the test again. At that point, we'll take the test again with him using center to edge aiming and see if he does any better. And the thing about this is we're not going to work on your stroke. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about pre-shot routines or anything with that. Everything's going to be center ball, so we're not talking about side spin or anything. We're trying to reduce the variables here to see pocketing balls with center ball from established positions. What's the score before learning CTE? What's the score after learning CTE? That's it. Okay, does that sound about right, or have I missed anything?
Sounds about right.
Okay.
Can I throw my disclaimer?
Yeah.
Okay, my disclaimer is John's going to say with CTE, my disclaimer is with any aiming system in any practice, you're going to get better anyway.
Okay, so,
Agreed.
well, I don't know. So, I guess we could test that some other way. We'd have to find some other person.
Agreed. You'd
To
have to
test
find
it.
another person to test it, but that's just kind of my. If you're going to try CTE, which I'm game to try, you'd have to find somebody that the only thing they want to do is ghost ball, back of ball, touch of inside, one of the 9 million other aiming systems out there.
I don't understand.
Okay, you take somebody else that's the same skill level as me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to do the CTE and try to learn that to bring my game up. Okay, that's going to be practicing just CTE. If you take another person, same skill level as me, and teach them touch of inside, or you teach them just nothing at all, just practice hitting balls, their skill level might go up as well.
Yeah, their ability to pocket balls. Well, if it's an objective aiming system that works,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you would expect that their pocketing ability would go up if their aiming ability goes up.
But it's kind of like
all other things being equal.
Kind of like we were saying, who was it that said, pocket a million balls, you're going to get better? Agreed?
Well, shoot a million balls or hit
shoot
a million balls. Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole point of this experiment right now is I don't have a bunch of views to try it with. So
right.
So we're not doing, this isn't exactly, scientific research here.
Mm-hmm.
We're just doing a basic experiment that, obviously anybody out there who sets up experiments is going to know this has a lot of different flaws.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is, you've heard me talk about CTE a lot, so you're familiar at least with the terminology.
Absolutely.
So it's not like you're coming in completely cold and uninitiated to it at all.
Right.
However, you don't use it. I've seen you play, so you obviously don't use CTE right now.
Exactly.
When you aim. And I think that this will be a good test, at least between
where I am now.
Where you are now is in terms of I don't do anything except just point and shoot,
mm-hmm.
and being deliberate with instructed, objective aiming. So it's not a question of whether any other system is going to produce the same results as CTE, whether CTE is better than any other system. That's an experiment for another time.
Okay.
This is just, between me and you,
mm-hmm.
because you're a low rated player at the moment, and again, folks, if he's established with 30 more games, maybe he jumps up to a 400 or a 450 or a 500. I don't know.
Right.
But right now, with 170 games in, he's rated as a 365, right?
Yeah, 5.7. So, yeah.
Something like that. Okay. So, you guys can figure out what that is as far as skill level. But
I suck.
Regardless of that, we've got a test here that he's going to take. Set up, see how it goes, learn another way to aim, see how it goes. So that's it. We're not gonna. Well, I mean, we're gonna agree that you're not gonna work like harder on your pre-shot routine or anything like that. You're just simply gonna learn how to aim using CTE. We're not gonna talk about stroke or speed or anything like that. And once you feel like you've learned CTE and you've got it down, then we'll come back and do the test again. That's it.
Sounds
so
good.
We're going to try to finish this out in about a week, so we can get the results and do it. So let's just jump right into it. So over here on the other screen, I've got the ball positions. For those of you who don't know, this is Colin Colenso. He's an Australian player. This is his potting test. For the record, when he put this up years ago on AZ Billiards, many people took the test, and in the top 10 positions, I think, and I think even in the number 1 position, possibly, were several CTE users. So, and then that's been repeated throughout other different tests that have been taken as well. So, there's a little bit of evidence there that people who use CTE, and who are otherwise also good players, seem to be able to finish high with it. So we'll see what happens. But you can find that on Dr. Dave's website and on AZ Billiards by searching for Colin Colenso's pocketing test. Okay, so let's see if I can.
Is this live?
No, we're recorded. We're being.
Okay. Do we need to start this over without me getting it?
Nope.
You should.
Yep.
It's up to you.
Okay, so here, I'm just going to move the camera so you guys can get a better appreciation of what some of these shots are. So we're just going to set it up like this. It'll be easier. I don't know why, but the very first shot that he sets it up is a pretty tough cut here. So as you can see here, the position of the first shot is the 13 ball is off the rail by a half a diamond, and it is 1.5 diamonds away from the pocket. Now these shots are going to be cutting to the right and cutting to the left. So one set of them this way, one set of them that way. We're going to run through the whole thing with 5 tries at each one. So one would think, if you try the first one, each successive try you should get a little bit better at it. If you're doing the kind of aim and guess situation, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to write down the scores on here, and we'll go with that, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started on this one. And you know where to position the cue ball, correct?
Yeah, it's center table, 1.5 diamonds up.
Okay, so this one is going to be all of cuts to the right. Okay?
Is that correct on cue ball? 1.5 up, center table.
Cue ball is 1.5 center table, correct? All right, so let's go ahead and see how you do here. Now this one's going to be on the
And everything is center ball.
correct. This one's going to be on the 9-foot table,
The football.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And center ball, yep.
Looking at your ball stuff.
Okay.
One if I suck.
Hmm?
One if I suck.
Okay, let me figure out how to score this here. Okay, so I'm just going to put, I'm only going to put the ones you made. So if you don't make any, we'll just put a scratch, okay?
Sounds like one.
I think that's how we'll do that. We might have to start over and start with a different program.
Different program.
Well, I don't know if it's going to record here. I think this thing's going to stop it at 2 gigabytes.
Okay.
Anyway, just keep going. We'll see what
Is there a way of
happens.
saying speed up?
No, we'll see what happens.
See, on the shot, I still say everything.
Okay, and one last shot.
So we got 4 ice houses so far.
Okay, so we have 1 out of that.